So let's take a look back at Call of Duty past. Let's take a look at the black sheep of the series. Let's take a look at the game of the Call of Duty series that everyone hated. The Call of Duty game that everyone thinks is the worst of all time. No, not that one. No, the other one. The other one. The one everyone hates. Not that one. No. The one everyone hates. No, the Sledgehammer game that everyone hates. No, the World War II Sledgehammer game that everyone hates. No, not that one. No, the other one. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, the great thing about that joke is that it's completely interchangeable with every Call of Duty game that came out after COD 4. Every single one of those games at some point was considered the black sheep of the franchise and the worst of the series. Yes, including some of your favourites, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, were both considered the worst of the series when they came out. This happens to every single one of them. You know, that's why it's so funny to see all these people, all these YouTubers doing their retrospectives on Vanguard and talking about it as if it's the worst Call of Duty game ever made. And the funniest part of that is that the 1 year I missed with Call of Duty retrospectives was actually last year with Cold War. I wasn't able to do it because there was so much going on. You know, Ashley was pregnant and I got a new job and everything, and it was just all so overwhelming. I didn't have time. But the video that I had planned to do, I was going to open with exactly the same joke because everyone was, well, exactly the same because it's not a Sledgehammer game. Excuse me, sorry, just had an itchy ear. Not exactly. Sorry about that. Not exactly the same joke because it wasn't a Sledgehammer game, but yeah, pretty much the same joke. Because everyone was talking trash about Cold War during their retrospectives, about how much they didn't like it, and it was a huge disappointment for them. It wasn't as good as Modern Warfare. That's just how it goes. It always happens with Call of Duty games. That, you know, the newest one is always considered the worst. But I will say that, of course, with this one, you have the facts and figures to back it up. This was the worst selling Call of Duty since COD 4. In the UK only, just in the UK, and it was the best-selling game of 2021 still. That's genuinely true. What's going on with the world? No, but all jokes aside, seriously, you know, the conversation, the discourse surrounding this game was definitely of, wow, this is a dead game. And I think that does a lot for the game itself. I think when the discourse attached to the game isn't that people are angry and annoyed but jumping back into the game and getting annoyed again, rather for the first time we're just saying, look, this is why the game is dead. And just general conversations regarding, well, look, the game's over, it's done, nobody cares about this thing anymore. And that definitely had an effect on me. This was the first Call of Duty I hadn't prestiged in 5 years since Infinite Warfare. 2017 was the last time I had a Call of Duty game that I didn't prestige in. And to put that into perspective, the last time I didn't prestige was in an exosuit game. And there's the answer as to why I didn't prestige in it. But yeah, it has been 5 years since I haven't prestiged in a Call of Duty game, and I didn't with this. And I think a big reason for that was that I would jump in, I'd play a round or two, and I'd just think, oh, this is... I mean, who cares? You know, who cares if I level in this game? Who gives a shit what happens when I play this game? Because no one cares about the game. And again, I think that that had a big effect on the popularity of the game. Is that, you know, so many people talking about how it wasn't popular enough and it wasn't a big deal, and of course that had a knock-on effect where people just didn't feel as though they could take the game seriously in the same way that they could with pretty much every other Call of Duty game. So yes, I do think it is a game with less of a community behind it than pretty much almost every other Call of Duty game ever made, almost. But no, I don't think it was a complete flop. However, I do think compared to other games, Sledgehammer are definitely going to have to rethink their position if they're going to want to actually back into developing another Call of Duty game. I think a big contributing factor to this, and another reason as to why I didn't really care too much about the game, was that it was World War II. Look, when World War II came out, that was fine, but World War II games are something that you can sort of, I personally can only sort of take seriously in bite-sized chunks. You know, if I can't, I feel as though you're so limited with a World War II game. You can't like do crazy shit with your guns, and you can't have very interesting maps. Every map has to kind of be, you know, not have much tech behind it, not have too many neon lights or anything like that. And I think that really limits and restricts the developers, and I think that's a very good thing. And that's clearly what happened here. So am I saying the game is trash and horrendous? No. Am I defending it and saying it's great? No, I don't think so. This is the issue. It's just there's a reason that I opened with the popularity of the game, and why I haven't really been talking about the game much, and that's firstly, because like I said, I didn't actually prestige in the game, so I didn't put many hours into it, but also, I just don't care. Like, I think that's a sentiment with a lot of people in the community. Personally, I'm not mad at it. I actually genuinely think the guns were fine. The gunplay was fine. Again, the guns suffered with being too restrictive, but I think the gunplay was fine. I thought it was very smooth, very tight. I thought some of the maps were actually pretty good. I really liked a couple of the maps, and I thought overall it played fairly well. But I just don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't feel anything towards this game. It just feels entirely soulless to me. And when you compare it to something like Modern Warfare 2 coming up soon, and when I was playing that beta, when I couldn't play the beta on the second weekend because I had this bug where I couldn't load. As soon as I loaded into the game, it just crashed because apparently it was because I played it on the PS4 and then tried to play on the Series X afterwards. When I couldn't get into that second week, I was so annoyed because I wanted to jump back into the game because I was having such a great time with it, and I felt that personality and that soul in the game, and I feel that in the trailers, and I feel it in the characters and the soundtrack and everything in this game. I can just feel that soul just pouring out of it, just like the original Modern Warfare 2, and I don't feel that way about Vanguard. I just don't care. I don't care about any of this, and I think that's why I didn't get annoyed when they did things like adding the futuristic weapons, because yeah, why not? Yeah, I didn't care about the silly events or the futuristic stuff they added from Advanced Warfare or the Attack on Titan skins. Attack on Titan is one of my favorite shows of all time. But even then, one of my favorite shows of all time, and I couldn't be bothered to get the skins or the weapons or anything like that because I didn't really care. I think it really says a lot that when I got my Series X, which was back in June, I found that I didn't get the cross-gen version of Vanguard, so I couldn't bring it over to my Series X. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I didn't pay the extra. I didn't buy the game again on the Series X. I just haven't played it since. Didn't really care. However, when it came to playing Modern Warfare 2, which, a little bit sus, I could play on my Series X. What's going on, Activision? What's going on there? I was over the moon. I was really happy about it. I was really excited to jump back into Modern Warfare, and I think that says everything. And the difficult thing about a video like this is I can't pinpoint it, because I genuinely, if you asked me, I wouldn't tell you this is a bad game, because I don't think it is. I don't think it's a bad game, and I know it wasn't supported as well as Cold War or even Modern Warfare, but I still think it was a well-supported game. Listen, as a Halo Infinite fan, you guys were drowning in it. You guys were spoiled with content this year with Vanguard. Halo Infinite got 2 maps in the space of a year and is going to get 1 weapon in a year and a half. You guys were spoiled in comparison to that game. I think it was relatively well supported. I think the goofy stuff that they added was silly, but at least you got something, a bit different. I actually enjoyed the campaign quite a lot. I had a really good time with the campaign, and that's actually a different kettle of fish. I had a good time with it. It was really good, and the soundtrack was fantastic. I actually liked the story relatively, not too much, but I really liked the set pieces, particularly the one with the female sniper. Really good missions. I really enjoyed that. I had a good time with the campaign, and I finished it on Veteran, actually. I'll probably put more time into the campaign than I did the multiplayer. I didn't touch zombies, but yeah, I mean, there was plenty there. It played pretty well. I like the blitz system. It was fine, but there's no soul. There was no soul behind this game, and I do think it will be. Sorry, my neighbour's dog is going at it now. I do think it will be remembered fondly in the future. I'm going to continue to plant my flag here. In the this will be remembered like ghosts fondly in the future realm. I do think that people are going to think of this as like, oh yeah, Vanguard, I had a good time with that game. But I think for me, I will also plant my flag and say that it was just kind of soulless. There was plenty there. 16 maps at launch. I will commend them for that. That is pretty great. But yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, I shouldn't really make this analogy because the lead singer is in a bit of hot water at the moment. But I'm going to leave you this. In 2017, when Sledgehammer made World War II, a band named my favorite band, Arcade Fire. Again, I know Win Butler's in hot water at the moment, but my favorite band, Arcade Fire, they released an album called Everything Now in 2017. And the whole concept of the album was this idea that there can be content, but if it's just content for content's sake, then it's just something. It's just a thing. It is just content, and it's nothing more than that. We expect so much, but then we just end up with infinite amounts of content, and that's how I feel about this game. There's plenty of it, but it was just content. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Vanguard, and I will see you next year, or maybe in 2 years' time, actually, for my retrospective on Modern Warfare 2. I am so hyped for this game. I haven't been this hyped for a Call of Duty game in a long time, other than Infinite, for a game for a long time. I'm actually genuinely thinking of getting the digital version, which I shouldn't. I know I should get the disc version, but I really want to play that campaign. I'm so excited for the campaign, so we'll see. But anyway, so I'll see you soon for some Modern Warfare and whatever comes before that. So I guess I will see every